Hello and welcome to a view from the South Stand. It's finished Tottenham 1, Newcastle 2 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham's first defeat in 9 at home. Disappointing. But let's get into it. Let me bring the guest out and let me get into this. So let me bring out my first guest. Matt, how you doing?
Not great. Not great after seeing that. No. Shit.
So let's get into it. So Spurs, Conte made changes and made a lot of them. He brought in Sanchez. He brought in Longley. He brought Cess back. He brought Royale back. He brought Skipping. First half an hour, how did it go?
You ain't even got to look at the first half hour. You just got to look at the whole thing. It's absolutely shocking. The whole, like, don't even worry about the first 30 minutes. Like the whole game was shocking from start to finish. I mean, we've got to be one of the only teams I know, right, that go and get a goal back from being 2-0 down, but yet still don't seem like we want to go and score to either draw or win the game. We've got to be one of the only teams I know that do that. It's shit. It's been shit to watch for a good couple of games now, to be honest. It's just rubbish. Changes or no changes. Everyone's been crying out for squad depth for God knows how long now. Which, yeah, all right, we got squad depth, but we bypassed the first team. Like the actual our usual starting level. We completely bypassed that and improving that. It says it all today. Like, yeah, Romero was missing, but you look at the back five that we played today. It was shocking. The back five. It's disgraceful.
Is it a case of when we saw Royale, Cess, and Sanchez in one lineup, we knew it was going to be curtains for us today?
Not even them three, but you got to look at like Longley. Like, I don't really know what he's done to kind of prove to get himself into a starting 11 place. I know he's on a rotational basis usually, but Dyer's been fucking shocking since he got his England call up. He's been so bad. Lloris, barring his, I wouldn't even say heroics, barring his about 8 saves he made against Man United, you look at him as an actual goalkeeper, he's not great at all. He's a half decent shot stopper, but you look at him today. I think we're all in a group chat, aren't we? And one of the guys in there, I can't remember his name, he said that he does the basics well, which is saving shots, but then everything else that every other goalkeeper does well, Ederson's, Alisson's, ter Stegen's, Neuer's over the years, playing out with his feet and all that stuff and playing under pressure, he's really shit at.
But okay, so that's a great point. As you just said, then he's a great shot stopper. So is it not then down to the manager to make sure that we're not having a goalkeeper that needs to play with his feet? Because let's look at Newcastle, right? Let's look at Newcastle. Nick Pope is terrible with his feet. How many times did he play it out with his feet today? Hardly any, because he can't use his feet. And when he did, he knew that Son and Kane weren't going to pressurize him. So why are we sitting there letting Lloris play with his feet, but Nick Pope at the other end's not doing it?
But then you look at when we had Pochettino and Mourinho, we were still playing out with his feet.
Exactly, but so, we've never had a goal. Lloris has never been able to kick with his feet. Why are we allowing this to happen with each manager? Is it not more down to them? Because France, let's be honest, the one time he done it, World Cup final, got caught. Yeah. So is it a case of what Lloris is good at? Just do the things Lloris is good at. Is that not the problem here?
But then the things he's good at would be punting it upfield. But yet our only out and out striker, our number 9, he's playing as a number 10 at the moment because we've got no creativity. So he can either way with him. You can punt the ball up top and try and get Kane and Son into the game. But Kane drops so deep now to try and get into the game, and he's our only creative player.
Well, this is the problem. Is this not a problem then throughout the team at the moment, right? Because you've got Lloris is a good shot stopper, but he can't kick. So you're looking to kick long. But when you go long, you've only got, let's be honest, Kane up there. Son's not good in the air. So this is going to be my next question. We've been crying out for 3-5-2. I think you were as well. That's 2 games gone now, and we've been absolutely shocking with that formation. Do we have the players to play that formation?
Absolutely not, no. But then what formation do we play? Because either way, even if you play a 4-2-3-1, you're still going to need somebody with a creative spark who can play as a number 10. We've not got that at the moment. We play with this 5-3-2, or however you look at it. with the three centre midfielders. One of them three needs to be creative. We're playing Højbjerg, who's holding. Yeah, all right, he scored 2, 3, 4 goals this season, but he's naturally a holding midfielder. We play with Basuma sometimes. He's naturally a holding midfielder. Bentancur, yeah, he's starting to push forward a bit more. But naturally, all these players are holding midfielders. How can you expect a team to be creative when you're playing 3 holding midfielders in centre midfield? You're inviting pressure on because that's what I'm saying. Then your creative player is coming from Kane, who's dropping as a 9 into a 10, and it leaves Son up front on his own. That's when we play 2 up front. Even when we don't play 2 up front and we play the 2 centre midfielders and we play 3 up front, Kane's still dropping in as a 10. Richarlison and Son are coming in off the wing. Do you know what I mean? It don't work. We ain't got the players for it. We're crying out for a number 10, and we have been since Eriksen left. Yeah, all right, Eriksen left on bad terms, but with that type of player, we've been missing that. How long has he been gone now? 3 years? 4 years?
Yeah.
We're missing it, and it's so bad. It's so bad.
Do you think though? Unless I'm going to take the first half an hour because.
Yep.
Do you not think that was probably the best football we've played for half an hour this season, considering how boring how boring we've been and we had shots, we opened them up twice. Was it not the best half an hour? And then my next leading on to that question, did then the mistakes from Lloris, and I'm going to put both of them on him because he's kicking for the second goal.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, there's no regard.
Do you not think then the mistakes then killed everything for the team?
Well, absolutely. I said it to my dad when I was watching it with him. I said, we was on top for 35 minutes of the game. We had Son had a couple of shots, didn't he? Son probably should have finished that when he tried to dink over Pope. We had the opportunities. And it's probably the most chances we've created in the first, because we're known to kind of struggle to get out of the gates in the first half. We pump teams in the second half. But the opening 35 minutes before Wilson done his thing, we was the better team. We was, but then it's a lapse in concentration, both from Dyer at centre half, and then the ball comes through to Lloris. Now I don't know why he hasn't just punted that away from goal. Just boot it away, boot it in row Z and regroup. Do you know what I mean? It's shocking. Everyone's saying, it should have been a foul. Blah blah blah. Is it a foul? Wilson's not really got anywhere to go. Yeah, you see it from the behind the goal angle. He put his arm, his arm's gone onto Lloris. But yet, what's he meant to do? You know, human physics tells you that if you're kind of running towards something, it's virtually impossible to stay still on the spot, especially if someone's running towards you. But there, Lloris has just got to clear it. The second one, he's put Sessegnon in danger anyway. Yes, Sessegnon's not great in the air, but he had that Longstaff geezer who's easily over 6 foot, jumping up for a header with him, and Lloris has put him in a really, really awful situation. And it was a poor kick out as well. I probably would have preferred for him to overkick it out for a throw-in. Do you know what I mean?
You've mentioned something there, Dyer. Yeah?
Don't.
Is it a case of, when you look at what Newcastle had at the back today with Shaw, Dan Burn, or Botman?
Botman, when it was out,
Yeah. Are all three not better than Dyer, Davis, and every option that we've got after looking at that performance, how 3 of them played well today?
I mean, I'm not being funny, Marlon. You've got Dan Burn, who's fucking 6'8", playing as a left back and playing well. Do you know what I mean?
Playing really well,
Playing really well. Let's be real, he's naturally a centre half. I don't think there's anybody over 6'4" that plays as a left back or right back. He's naturally a centre half that's been pushed out wide over the past couple of years, especially at Brighton and at Newcastle now. But he's got comfortable in that position. And you said that Botman's come over from, where was it, France? And he seems to have settled in all right. Shaw's about 33, 34, but still never seems to age and seems to be getting better every season.
Yeah. And
Trippier's the one that got away still. I don't know why we didn't try and go back in for him. I thought he played really well for them today. But I know what you're saying. You look at what we've got at the back, apart from Romero, I'm being deadly serious now. If they was to play a back 3 of Burn, Shaw, and Botman, I think the only person that walks into that team out of our back 3 is Romero.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm being dead serious. Now, am I saying, right, let's go out and buy him in January? Yeah, they're going to win us the league. No, this is just me saying just how bad our team is. Our defence is anyway. The fact that only one player will walk into Newcastle's team.
And is it a case of, Newcastle have got all this money, but actually they didn't really spend great amounts of it what we was expecting, but yet they've managed to get a better defensive unit than we have, and we had a whole summer to do it.
They've done it the perfect. Yeah, they've done it the perfect way. They've been taken over by mega rich people, probably richest people in the world, right? In terms of footballing terms, they've been taken over by them, and they've not pumped the money in straight away because realistically, they know that they're not going to be do a Man City and like go and start challenging for titles with the squad that they've got at the moment. Do you know what I mean? They're doing it the right way. They're getting certain players in for the time, but you'll see over the years, eventually they'll be getting really big names in. But at the moment, with the team they've got, Marlon, they're in the top 4 at the moment. Yeah, we're 11 games in or whatever. They're
So
in the top 4.
So is it a case, if we look at it, right? If we look at it then, is it a case that actually Newcastle played really well and actually deserved the result they got today? And
Absolutely.
actually, no matter what Spurs probably would have done, would have probably been in the same situation because Man United weren't any better. And and Newcastle went to Old Trafford on last week and they got a draw.
Yeah.
And from what you heard from a lot of people, Newcastle should have won last week at Old Trafford.
Yeah, to be honest, Marlon, I said before the game, I was still, I made like a passing joke because I knew that they had Isak out, they had St. Maximin out, Bruno Guimaraes was 50-50 because he just had a kid. Joe Linton might not have been playing. That's like, they've kind of 4 players that could cause you trouble. And I said, even with them 4 out, we'd still probably lose the game. And I genuinely do think we still would have lost the game. Like, you look at Almiron, the geezer who's on form. Yeah, he's not been great over the years, but he's a player on form. Players play well when they're on form. The geezer's got 6 goals this season now. Do you know what I mean? And he absolutely roasted Longley, by the way. Absolutely roasted him. I mean, I heard Jamie Carragher saying on Sky Sports, he was like, he said it annoys me when wingers or attacking players with flair just don't bother going past defenders because the defender's worst nightmare is when a player gets past you, especially when they're fast and nippy and tricky.
But to be fair to Longley, I'm just gonna throw this out there. To be fair to Longley, apart from that, Almiron weren't really in the match, as in he weren't dictating anything. He gave him one opportunity, and it well. To be honest, it wasn't even completely his fault, as we said earlier, it was Lloris. So it's Longley. It was a case of Longley today made one mistake and it cost us dearly, and he's gonna have to learn that in the Premier League. Is he not?
Yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't have wanted to be in Longley's shoes with Almiron literally knocking the ball past me because if I'm to slide in and try and make a tackle there, I'm probably giving away a penalty. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is difficult for him, but I still reckon he definitely would have done the same to Dyer because I think I can run faster than Dyer.
Dyer would have turned his back and still been turning by the time Almiron was on the box.
Dyer would have been running to play up front or something. Like, he would have been running away from him. I still think he would have got past Romero. Do you know what I mean? I still think he would have got past any of our centre halves with just that quick turn that he done. I'm not blaming Longley for the goal. I'm just saying it was difficult for him.
Yeah.
But it just goes to prove that I think even before the game started, people were like, or before the teams were announced, there was them 4 players that were meant to be not playing for them, but 2 of them ended up playing, and 2 were probably their better players. Joe Linton played really well, and I think Bruno Guimaraes played really well as well, along with Almiron and Wilson up front. I thought them 4 or 5 as a group played really well. But it's really bad. Can I see any improvement? No, we'll probably end up losing against Bournemouth on the weekend and all.
Where do Spurs go from here? Because obviously there's an important midweek game against Sporting Lisbon, and there's obviously we got Bournemouth next week. Mm-hmm. Where do we go from here? And we've got Liverpool coming up as well, who haven't won an away game.
But you know what the funny thing's going to be, though? It's always the Tottenham curse. Like, if a player's not scored in about 20 games, come and play against Spurs, they'll score their first goal in 20. Liverpool are going to do the same. They'll probably beat us at home. Where do we go from here? To be honest, I don't really know. People are saying, let's invest and buy in January. It's hard to buy in January. People don't want to sell their best players.
But is it? You say that. You say it's hard to buy in January. If you put the money up, are you not getting your player in January? And if you do it early, if you do it before the January window opens, you go to that club and go, we want to give you this amount of money for this person. Can that club not then go, oh crap, we need to accept this and go out and buy someone? But if you're going to do it the Tottenham way, it becomes difficult because you want to scrimp and save on every bit. Because you look at someone like Liverpool, because everyone uses that excuse, it's hard in January. Van Dijk was bought in January, and Van Dijk was bought before the window opened. Southampton knew they were getting a replacement.
Look what Liverpool could offer. They were title contenders at the time. Like, but
they wasn't title contenders. They were literally they needed to cement fourth. I know they got to the Champions League final that year, but they needed to cement fourth. They just bought Alisson. Was it Alisson the week? No, Alisson was bought the year after. So Liverpool weren't even in the squad then. But yeah, they went out and bought Van Dijk, and they went and bought Alisson in the summer, and it fixed basically all their issues. After that's what we told them they had to do. But Luis Suarez, there's been so many January signings. If you do it early enough, and you just put, they've got. Let's be honest, they've got a whole December to prepare for it.
Yeah,
there's nothing going on in December. So if it's going to happen, they need to be doing it now. But like you said, will Tottenham do it? Will Paratici be on the phone now, getting them players?
I should bloody hope so, because that's what he's fucking. That's what he was employed to do, mate. That's what he was employed to do. I bloody hope he's on the phone right now. But for me, I'll backtrack on what I said a little bit, based on the fact that the perfect player in the mould that we're playing at the moment would be James Maddison. At a team like Leicester, where they're majorly struggling financially at the moment, and obviously struggling in the league. I know they won today and a couple of games, but they've been really bad. They're probably looking to get rid of a couple of players, and Maddison is the perfect fit for us if he wants to play 5.
No, I agree.
I'm perfect for us.
There are rumours that he is interested in the Spurs move. So, but again, it's going to be down to the man at top putting down the money.
Of course.
Before I let you go, it wasn't as bad as Wednesday, but which player out of today from us could come up with a head held high and go, I played okay today?
Bentancur is the only one. Bentancur is the only one that today looked like he wanted it. Just like he was making full. He was literally everywhere. I'm sure he covered every blade of grass. Yeah. He literally was everywhere today. And this is what I'm saying. If you've got a holding midfield player who's going to try and be your attacking threat, you've got problems. Yeah, all right, he done well today, but you could see there were certain times, like he done that little mazy dribbly run, and then he kind of just got caught in. He was like, "Oh shit, I'm probably not even meant to be this far forward." Do you know what I mean? But that's not his fault. This is what I'm saying. You need somebody creative there. But anyone there that holds their head up, Bentancur, he was by far the best player on the pitch out of an extremely bad bunch and extremely bad performance.
Matt, have you got your frustration out? Have you got your therapy out?
do you know what? I think I've got my therapy out now. You know what? I might even play some FIFA and try and buy the players that I think we should buy.
Matt, go and enjoy your evening.
I will, mate.
But as we always finish on, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
So, just had Matt on. Couple Geordies in the chat, obviously from the Friday. Geordie team for life. How you doing? Make sure you tune in, stay tuned in. In the next half an hour, I've actually got a Newcastle fan coming on, so make sure you tune in. And Gally as well. I'm just going to assume that you're a Newcastle fan as well. But yeah, make sure you tune in the next half an hour. We've got a Newcastle fan coming on as well. But as we're going through the chat, let me bring out my next guest. Flicks, how you doing?
Bro, I'm fucking raging. Disappointed, man. I'm fucking disappointed.
Before you get into it. So obviously the starting lineup today, right?
Yeah.
So we had Sanchez come in, right?
Yes.
We had Longley come in.
Yes.
We had Skip come in.
Yes.
We had Cess come in, and we had Royale come in. How did it? First half an hour. Let's talk about the first half an hour, because
Go on.
I always want to talk about the first half an hour because it probably leads on to what happened in the rest of the game. How did you think we played in that first half an hour?
Compared to the United game, a lot better.
Yeah.
Sonny was very unlucky from what I remember. But then it just all went fucking tits up with Hugo Lloris once again. You know, he's not good enough for me anymore. I don't give a shit what anyone says. He's just not cutting it anymore. He makes far too many mistakes. And I'll tell you now, the one thing that does piss me off with Lloris, he plays it short every time. Plays it short. Just thump the ball up to Son Heung-Min now. Instead, he plays it short.
So the question I've got, because I just asked Matt the exact same question, and I'm going to keep asking because everyone's going to come on and actually handle Lloris.
Yeah.
We've had 4 or 5 managers that keep asking Lloris to kick. Why are our managers keep asking Lloris to kick when he can't kick? He can't go short. Why do our managers keep trying to play this way with him? Either replace him for someone you can kick, or you're going to have to try another plan.
Exactly. For me, I'll just put, what's his name? Ben Forster in goal. I'm being real. Lloris, honestly, I've no disrespect to the guy, but Lloris, come on, man, it's too many mistakes now.
But is it a case of, because let's look at Wednesday for talking purposes, where he literally kept the score down, but today, he's because after that first goal, you could tell a lot of the lads started to play with their heads down and was like, "Oh my god, here we go again." So are you blaming him for the second goal, or you looking at
the second goal? Definitely.
I can't assume
but no, Dan. Yeah. I'm gonna bang on about Cess as well. You know, Sessegnon should have done a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, fucking Amaron come out from the middle of nowhere, bang 2-0. But you know, bang on. Get them back onto Lloris. You got to be a lot better.
So, quick question: are you one of the guys that was banging on that we needed to play 3-5-2, and if so, has it worked?
No, I wasn't one of the guys. You've only got to look at the United game. You know, it was pathetic. You know, why play that system? Come on.
So, is it a case now of, we've played 3-5-2? Do we go back to 3-4-3 and try and Moura back on the right and Son back on the left? Because if you look at Son's performance today, Son is not comfortable as a 2.
No.
So
I'd go 3-4-3, and then at the same time, it doesn't help when you got Kulusevski missing, Richarlison, Højbjerg today. It was a big miss in that central mid. Romero. Once you got all them boys there, then we're a lot better.
So second half? What did you make of the second half? Obviously, we had such a bad last 15 minutes of that first half. What did you make of the second half? Do you think the boys came out and gave it a go, or were they still restricted? Were they still kind of playing with the handbrake on, as most people would say on the content?
Yeah. It's exactly that. I'd say with the handbrake on, a lot better than what it was compared to the first half, late on in the first half, I should say. But we're missing that creative midfielder. We're missing that Eriksen type. Yeah, Bentancur, just like your previous guy said, Bentancur for me was man of the match. He tried. The guy tried, and he's quality. But there was no one else. No disrespect to Skippy. I like Skippy, but there was no other player that tried, to create other than Bentancur. So, we have to be a lot better, and we're crying out for someone like an Eriksen.
Yeah,
we need it,
can see it.
and that's when I want the Madison, them players, the Madisons. Come on, we could be all day talking about this, but honestly,
do you honestly think no? We can see what the problems are as fans. We can see what the problems are. I personally think Conte can see what the problems are. Do you think we're going to fix it in January?
If Moneybags Daniel Levy steps up, then for me, I still think we need another central defender. Emerson Royal not cutting it for me. Cess today was shit. Come on, we need a creative midfielder. You got Madison there who would step straight in.
What do you make of Eric Dyer today?
Eric Dyer, it was okay. Okay, but when you got what's his name, the other guy, fucking Sanchez, Davison Sanchez.
The reason why I'm asking is because that's now since the England game.
Yeah.
I would personally say, this is my opinion. Want to get yours on it?
Go on.
Dyer's been absolutely shocking. I thought he was shocking before. I've never liked Dyer, but since the England game, he's not been the Dyer that I thought we had before the international break. He's been absolutely shocking in every single game. And that includes Brighton when we won, and that includes who else did we play? There was someone else, and he's been absolutely awful. And I thought today he was awful in that first half an hour. He was the worst player in that first half an hour. I thought he was so shaky, and I've a lot of group chats and stuff. But it's a case of why is this guy still playing in that position? Why is in our main core position he should be replaced? If going by it, should he not be being replaced with someone like Romero's kind of ability? Not.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like going back to what I said about earlier, but we need another central defender. If we can get another Romero, then we're fucking laughing.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I like Dyer, but it could be a lot. No, honestly, it could be a lot better. Well, put it this way: who would you rather have at centre back, fucking Sanchez or Dyer? If you got to choose,
do you want to know my honest opinion? I would pick Sanchez.
Okay,
and I tell you why. With Sanchez, I know what I'm getting. He's good in the air and everything like that. What I've been told about Eric Dyer is that he's good at organising and he's good at this and he's good at that. But when it comes to games, he's not good at anything. He turns his back half the time. He's never in the right position. I think Ben Davies actually makes him look better than he really is, because actually Ben Davies goes missing today against Arsenal. Ben Davies didn't play. And today he didn't play. And Dyer looks absolutely shocking. And that's weird because actually out of the two, I said Ben Davies last year was probably the better one. I just think because Dyer plays a lot of games. Dyer last year missed 3 or 4 games. We lost 2. We won 1. Right, which was against Leicester. The rest of the games Dyer had played, he played against Middlesbrough away. If Dyer's meant to be that good, we wouldn't be losing them games. And he's the central part, and that's my thing with Dyer. He's playing in such a vital position.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Sanchez in the middle either. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want any of them. But now, personally, it doesn't matter which one goes in there because they're both going to give exactly the same performance, is my opinion. and that's the way I've never been. I think if you start looking at Dyer's game, you'll start to see what I'm saying. Like, I'm going to get you on again. I'm going to get you on again. And
no
we're
worries.
going to have this conversation.
Who have we got next, by the way? Who've we got? Bournemouth. Is it Bournemouth?
Let's go. We've got Lisbon first.
I'm on about Premier League. I don't want to talk about Champions League.
But yeah, against the Bournemouth, I would expect Dyer to play okay. I'm not. Dyer is a certain level, but this is the guy that played Conference League football for us last year, and that's the thing that I wanted to ask you. This is a team that most of you played in the Conference League, and they couldn't get out of the group stage. So why the hell are they being trusted this year?
Because like I said, if we had another Romero, we'd be fucking laughing. But this is when fucking Levy needs to step up. Yeah.
Do you think he's going to step up? As of course, Levy out.
Of course he won't. Of course he won't. But when you got a fucking top manager like Conte, he has to. There's no if, buts, and maybes. He has to give Conte what he fucking wants. Otherwise, Conte will walk. He ain't gonna take no shit from Conte. From Lloris, sorry. Fucking hell, Levy. But we will see in it. We will see what happens in January.
Yeah. So my next question is going to be, so obviously we blamed a lot on Conte on Wednesday, which was fine. I was one of them too. There was a lot of mistakes. But when we look at today, were Newcastle that good? And are we underestimating Newcastle at the moment? Or is it a case of Spurs can't rotate? Because apparently Conte's come out after the game and said, this squad's good enough if we've got 1 game a week.
Get out.
Right? The problem is, Mr. Conte, and like he is, we've got 2 games a week. Why was this not addressed back in the summer?
Good question. Very good question. Fuck's sake, yeah.
If you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. So, do you think there's any coming back from this? Look, is it a bad result today, or is it a case of the top 4 is looking it's gonna go? Because Arsenal obviously dropped points today. Manchester City or Manchester City. We're still sitting in 3rd at the moment. You got United and Chelsea who drew obviously yesterday, and then look who's involved, the team that we lost today. Are we underestimating how good Newcastle really are?
Newcastle have had a very good start to the season. You know,
Yeah.
let's admit it. You know, yeah, we were poor, but fucking hell, they were quality today. Almiron, fucking even Joe Linton, who has been shit previous seasons, decent. You know, we just weren't good enough.
So that's a question for you then, because you're saying they're good enough. Is it a case of this is what happens when you get a board that go and back the manager for what he wants? Because they haven't gone out and bought all the superstars that we were expecting. They haven't. The only person that's really came out of the blue was Isak. But actually, when you look at everything he bought from January onwards, they backed him and bought him the players he wanted. Is this the reward of what happens when a board backs a manager?
Of course it is. 110%. Of course it is. This is like I keep saying. I say it year after year with fucking Levy. If he was to pull his fingers out his ass and give now Conte what he wants, then we'd be laughing. I guarantee that. I know people say, "Oh yeah, same."
Oh, looks like some internet trouble from. So I think that was me.
No worries. I wonder what happened.
As you were saying.
I can't remember. What was I saying? Yeah, I know people say same old Tottenham, but if you know the manager was backed, then we'd be laughing.
Yeah.
Simple as.
And so are you one of them now, looking at where we are now? Do you believe Conte was fully backed, or do you feel like actually half this squad is still club signings?
That's a good question. It's put it this way, yeah. When you look at the likes of Spence, who's the other guy, Basuma, like I was hearing a lot of rumours that people are saying that the likes of Levy and that wanted Basuma, Spence, Conte didn't.
Yeah.
For me, Basuma's quality, Spence is quality. I've seen Spence back in his Nottingham Forest days, quality player. At the end of the day, Levy's just got to give Conte what he wants. January's only around the corner now, you know, virtually. So we'll see.
So, obviously, got a midweek game against Sporting Lisbon. Do you feel like the players are going to respond? Because that's now 2 defeats on the trot.
They have to,
and it's Man United was probably the poorest we've been.
Yeah.
And today, we just kind of 15 minutes cost us the game. If we're gonna be realistic about it, those 15 minutes of Lloris and doing what he was doing cost us the game. Are you expecting to see a reaction against Lisbon and Bournemouth in the next week or so?
Have to. Again, there's no if, buts, or maybes. The squad that he picks, doesn't matter what squad he picks, they have to fucking go out and wear that crest with pride. It's simple as. So we'll see.
Do you feel like they will? Even if the players have let managers, let's be honest, since Poch, the players have let us down on more than one occasion. And a lot of them are still here from Poch Day. You've got Dyer, Davis, you know, you've got a lot of people like that. Do you still feel like they are letting us down?
Yeah.
And
well, they've done it today, didn't they? You know, let's be real. They done it today.
But yeah, they did let us down. But it's more of a case of, can we see any positives going forward?
Positives, yeah, because you've got the likes of Højbjerg there, Romero, Richarlison, Kulusevski when he comes back as well. You know, when you got them guys I've just named in the squad, then we're a lot better. But like I said, we're still crying out for a creative midfielder who can play alongside the likes of Højbjerg, Bentenka. But quickly going on to fucking Sporting Lisbon, you know, if we turn up, you know,
it's
fucking,
worrying.
It is worrying because I'm only thinking about the last time they played us. They fucking outclassed us. And you got that young kid we gave away a couple of seasons ago, Edwards.
Edwards.
Class player. Class. But I'm not going to get onto that.
So, out of all the players today, who could come out with their head held high?
Bentancur. Straight up.
Yeah, another Bentancur fan.
It's quality, man. It's quality.
Flicks, as always, it's been wonderful. Please
you.
let everyone know where they can find you on socials, and then tell us about your clothing again, and I'll put it in the description after this video.
Yeah, no worries. As you can see there, at flicks__1 for my Instagram. YouTube, only one Flicks as well. And my clothing, official clothing, I've only been going about a year and a half tops. So it's literally just basic t-shirts staying official. But, you know, start of January next year, I'm going all out. Different designs, you name it, hoodies, full tracksuits. So yeah, official clothing.co.uk, you can find it there. Yeah, man.
And he's wearing the t-shirt right now, so get over there, have a look. I'll put it in the description as well after this clip. But
appreciate it.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully that's been some therapy for us both. But as always, finish on, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.
So let me get on to my next guest. So this week, I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to bring out an opposite fan. So the guy that I'm bringing out, I've known over for 20 years. London boy, Newcastle fan. Mitchie, how you doing?
Miles, you right?
I am very good. How are you? I can see the gleam on your face. And I was saying on the stream the other day that for the last how many years, I've been the one coming at you, texting you every year. And this year, I've done something stupid and brought you onto my stream.
Well, to be fair, over the years, I think it's been quite split. But for a long time, you've clearly been the better side. So
yeah.
Even regardless of the Newcastle Tottenham results, I've not really had much to say because there's always been such a gulf between us. It's probably been about 20 years now, since the early 2000s. You've just been running away. So,
well, considering when I first met you, it was all Shearer and all them and Spurs were crap. It's all good. So because this is a Spurs channel, we're going to speak about a bit of both, all right? And I just wanted to get into it a little bit. So when you saw what you were playing Spurs today, what did you expect from Newcastle? What did you expect from Eddie Howe? Did you expect him to come at us, or was you expecting him to come and sit deep?
Well, I expected us to go at you because we've already played City and Liverpool this season, and we play a similar way against everybody, just with a few little tweaks.
Yeah.
The worry I had before the game, there was noises of Joe Linton potentially being out, and Gameres not travelling because he's just had a new baby, and it was like if them two didn't play, also without St. Max, Isak, it was like, well, we've got a massive hill to climb.
We were happy when we saw them players out. We were literally, especially when Gameres, it was rumoured that he was not going to play. We were like, oh my God, this is perfect for an opportunity for Spurs. But obviously, he did play. But even then, you still had your attacking threat was still out, you know. But yet, you still come and played your game. When Callum Wilson obviously went in on the race, was it a foul for you, or was he right to play on?
For me, I don't think it was a foul. I think with the goalkeeper, they get a certain level of protection. Once they've left their box, I think some of that goes away. And he hasn't done enough for me. He's come out and he's got a little chest on it and then just flopped to the floor. Callum Wilson's actually stopped. He hasn't run into Lloris. He's actually stopped, and it's more Lloris going into him. So for me, it wasn't a foul. But when VAR was looking at it, it was one of them. I was thinking it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
I don't think it's clear cut either way. You can't say no, it's 100% not a foul, and you can't say 100% it was a foul. It literally, depending on what ref you've got in the game and on VAR, it could have gone either way.
As most Spurs fans said, it weren't a foul and said Lloris was being stupid. So if that's anything to go
if he comes out and just clears it long, and then there's contact, he probably gets a free kick.
Yeah.
But because he's basically done nothing with it and then flopped to the floor, he's just got nothing because he's not been decisive in anything he's done.
I think he tried to be very, very clever, and that's why he dropped to the ground and tried to, try and get the free kick. But then Lloris then decides to try and give it to Cesc, who's under pressure. You win the ball in the air, and the man of the moment, Almiron, comes in and scores. were you literally over the moon thinking, yeah, we're gonna take these lot to the cleaners?
Well, I didn't think we'd take them to the cleaners, especially after last season and the first 15 minutes today. But Miggy's just on fire at the minute. That little bit of magic that he hasn't really had since Rafa left. Because when Rafa was here, he was class then when he was playing with Rondon and Perez up front. The three of them were a proper little combination. But then under Bruce, he hasn't really had that bit of magic in him. So to see him do what he did to Longley today, because he's been scoring goals, but it's more been like a touch and a finish. He hasn't really beat a man like that for a while and then gone on to finish it. So it was good to see, but he's on fire at the minute. He's absolute magic at the minute, Mickey.
So obviously you've gone in 2-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Did you expect Tottenham to respond? And was it the response you was expecting, or was you expecting a lot more from Spurs?
I was expecting a lot more from Spurs, to be honest, because after the first sort of 20 minutes today, where your high press and the energy in midfield, and then you had Skip breaking beyond the lines, making the runs, that was causing us loads of trouble early doors. I was expecting it to go a little bit more back to that.
Yeah. But
you sort of came out flat again. And then when we conceded, it was such a rubbish time to concede, and it wasn't like you'd cut us open. It was like a set piece, and for me, I just couldn't understand it, because we've got Trippier on Kane, and then we've got Skip being marked by Shah, and it was just like we set it up wrong, and you punished us. And from there, I thought, oh no, they're going to get back into this now, because the crowd got going again, and the energy's levels lifted again, and after what we've experienced as Newcastle fans for a long time, normally that's the point where everything starts going wrong. But it's a different Newcastle at the minute, which is good to see.
So it's one defeat this season, and it happened to be in a game where you time wasted. But what are your expectations for Newcastle in this coming season? Quick, what my question is, after watching Spurs today, do you think you'll finish above us?
No. I don't think we would. We're on a great run, and it's good to see, and we're playing a completely different style of football than what we've been used to the last few years. But I think the squad depth over the course of a season will get to us. Even though we didn't have St. Max and Isaac today, if we lose say we lose Gomeres for a long period of time, or Joe Linton and players like that do things that other players in our squad can't do, we'll have a little bit of a problem, I think we'll never really be that suspect conceding many goals. But if we take out someone like Gomeres, the attacking edge where we're scoring 1 or 2 goals a game, we won't be creating as many chances without him in there, I don't think. So I think over the course of the season, before the season started, I would have said 8th, 9th, like grabbing onto the coattails of the group that you would have looked at as sort of West Ham Wolves.
Yeah.
It's hard to not be getting a little bit more carried away now, where we're looking to just step in between 6th and that group and finish in 7th place.
Yeah.
So that's sort of where I'm sitting at the minute. But if everything keeps going well, there's nothing to say we can't finish a couple of places higher. But if it goes wrong, we could finish a couple of places lower as well.
Spurs have got this big problem at the moment where we've got a manager, but we don't think the board have backed him. Are we seeing from Newcastle right now what happens when the board back a manager and not buying players for him?
I think there's a little bit of that, but I think with Tottenham, and the difference between Tottenham and Newcastle is everybody in our chain is singing from the same hymn sheet. So Dan Ashworth, Eddie Howe, anyone else who's involved in transfers, they're all on the same page. They're all working towards the same goal. Where I think at Tottenham, it's been a long time where it's a very disjointed process. The manager gets given players, or maybe gets to pick a player here, and it just doesn't work. You've either got to go one way or the other. You bring a manager in who knows they're just going to be given players, and they deal with it, or you let the manager have his say in the players that he wants to make his system work. And Conte's a very his system type of manager.
Of course.
It's not, you don't give him a squad and he picks a system for that squad. He plays his system. That's Conte.
So, with Eddie Howe at the moment, you're sitting pretty in 4th. I know you don't want to get too carried away, but do you think we're going to start talking about, if Newcastle is still in this position by January, before the World Cup, and you're still going, do you think we'll start talking about Newcastle actually going for the title as well?
No, definitely not this season.
Why not?
Because the gap's already too big. You look at the gap now, and you look at the likes of Man City. They don't drop that many points.
Very true on that one.
And the way Arsenal are playing at the minute, as much as it pains me to say it, you can't see them dropping loads of points. Even when they don't play well, they don't really get beat.
But could Newcastle be the Leicester? And the reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at the season Leicester won the league, Arsenal were top, City had the best start ever, and Leicester was sitting in like 4th or 5th by the time this part of the season came around.
I think for me, the only way that could happen is if I think we've got 3 Premier League games between now and the World Cup. If we get there without a defeat, and then in January we go out and buy a proper defensive midfielder, and maybe one more winger, you could potentially say, without anyone major getting injured, we could sneak into a spot that's in and around there. But I still don't think anyone's really going to get near City, to be honest. As much as Arsenal are up there now, City are just going to be phenomenal throughout the whole season. And then you've got to counter the fact that Haaland gets a whole month off soon, so they don't even have to rest him.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about Spurs. Obviously, you know, I know you've got quite a few mates that are Spurs fans and stuff like that.
This is why I always worry about
this. Where do you see, after watching us today, and now, you know, that's the second game on the bounce and we haven't reacted, where do you see Spurs finishing this season? And what next for Spurs?
I think it depends on how long Kulusevski's out for me. Because once he's back, I think it adds that cutting edge up front again. So the little breaks in the first 20 minutes that you got today with Kulusevski playing, I think you would have at least got one goal. At least one. There probably more, but you would have got at least one if he played. And I think that's been the problem the last few games, because it's just Kane and Son now. And there's not someone else who can cut people open like that once you've won the ball back and gone on your quick break. I think that's hindering you a bit, because with Kulusevski up there, them 3 they're just terrifying. Once you break and it's them 3 running at a back 4 or even 3-on-3, there's 9 times out of 10 they're getting a clear shot on goal. And with Kane and Son, 9 times out of 10 they're finishing a clear shot on goal.
Of course.
So I reckon you'll be in that. I think City will be clear. Then you'll have Arsenal, and it all depends on who can put a run together. I think Arsenal will be in like a little no man's land.
Yeah.
And then 3rd, 4th, 5th, and depending on what Liverpool or Man United do, potentially that 6th, all of that will be in a little batch, I think. And it all depends who can string one of them runs together, because then normally the Champions League clubs always string a run together where they're like 10 games unbeaten and they've won 8 of them. Whoever can string one of them together, or the longest one of them together, will then be the one breaking in to finish 3rd, 4th.
Mitch, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and seeing your side of things and how you see Spurs. You'll have to come back on when the reverse fixture's out.
100%.
I think you'll be happy again, if I'm being completely honest.
To be fair, you've got a much better record up at our place than,
and that's the only thing that's a
you've
good
got
thing,
against us at the lane, which is
this is the thing. I think last year was the first time we beat you at home for quite a long time, so it's a good thing. But yeah, absolute pleasure. Good seeing your side of things. I can't even say come on you Spurs, but good luck for the rest of the season. And hopefully you finish above Arsenal.
Oh yeah, if we do, we've had a very good season. We could do you a favour again like we did the end of last season though. So
well, I'm starting to think you actually did. I'm starting to think now you actually did do us a favour. I think if we'd finished 5th, we might have actually went out and bought better players and done than Arsenal. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe.
You never know.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure as always.
Nice one,
see you later.
Take care, bro.
And I'll bring out my last guest of the evening. This time it's a Spurs fan. We'll get his point of view on things. Haz, how you doing? Let you know, we're going to get straight into this because you were obviously at the game today, right? So you've got Sanchez came in. You had Longley came in. You had Skip come in. You had Romero. You had Royale come in. You had Cess come in. You played the 5-3-2 still that he went on Wednesday. How did the first half an hour go for you? And we're going to talk about the first half an hour first. You're on mute. We can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Come on, sort the tech issues out. Plug in and plug back. Plug it in and plug out.
You hear me now?
Can hear you now.
What happened there? Sorry. I wish that happened at the game today, so we didn't have to watch it. But
that's how we would have all been in that first half an hour. We're quite happy.
but for me, like even the first half hour, I never felt confident we were going to score. Son for me missed like the best chance of the game.
He did. Yeah.
I don't know what he was trying to do. Like just put it in the back of the net. You don't have to do anything clever and do a little chippy or whatever. Just put it in the back of the net. Like, and then Lloris does one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. Runs out, and if you're running out as a keeper, you have to win the ball, like without a doubt.
So are you like the rest of us? I think the only people not saying this is a foul, saying it's a foul, is non-Spurs fans.
Because I'm sorry, it's a foul. It's not a foul.
I think most Spurs fans agree it's not a foul. It's a stupid mistake.
It's just stupid. It's just,
he has to try and go through him. He has to try and win the ball. His first touch is wrong for a start, and then where is Wilson supposed to go?
But it's not just that. It's like we just switched off. It's like they assumed it was a foul, and then they scored. I just don't understand. Like, and then after that, I'm saying we gave up, but we were deflated. It's like the players just didn't pick themselves up, right?
And is that a worry? You know, after that goal, should the players be like, "Oh my God, we can't have a Man United again. We need to pick this up." But yet, Newcastle literally went on top after that, and then the second mistake happens. Yes, there were a couple mistakes leading to it. Lloris makes the big one because I don't know why he's looking at Cess to play the ball to him in the air. It's Cess. And then obviously Longley gets beat quite easily. And it's probably the only time Almiron got a sniff. But you give it to a man that's on form, what's going to happen?
But the whole back line is a shambles, mate. Like, Dyer for me is diabolical, excuse the pun. Like, he's honestly, it's actually painful watching him. And Sanchez is no story by himself. I know, I'm sure a lot of fans don't rate him like me, but he's just god awful. And we have both of them there, right? And then you have wing backs who, number one, Emerson, I'm sorry, just not good enough. Sessegnon, please just sell him in the summer because I cannot watch another game of us keep on trying with this player and he's not going to succeed. It's not going to happen. And then, so you're looking at 4 of the back 5 in a 5 defense system or 5 wing, whatever you would call it, wing back system. Longley was the only one. I don't know if you see my tweets before the game. I was confident enough to actually like play all right today in that back 5. Yeah. Like I was like, he'll be all right. I know he didn't play his best, but he was okay. But like Dyer is just.
And is that not the problem? Is that when our spine of our team today, and he's the god awful one in it? And are you with? I'm going to say this: since the international break, since Dyer had his call up for England, has his performances been anything like they were before? And I weren't saying he was great before, but I feel like he's dropped a standard.
Well, did he have any standards in the first place? I don't rate Dyer, so
I don't either. But
I still think he makes mistakes every game.
Yeah,
he just
and we're getting caught now.
He doesn't get punished as much, right?
Yeah.
But because today everyone was so bad, and because he was like the one in the middle, and people noticing it a lot more now, especially after in midweek.
Yeah.
Then now people are noticing, oh, Dyer's actually not that good. Well, I've been saying this for like the past year or 2 years probably. On the Mourinho in the back 4, he was awful again. And then the reason managers play a 3 is because it covers up. So you can have 3 worst defenders in the 3, and by
like we did last year,
by quantity you can cover up. Someone will cover someone eventually, right? But now it's just got to a point where it's just that honestly at half time I want to see Tanganga come on. I just get Dyer and Sanchez off. Just get some. I'd rather see youngsters have a game. To be honest, at this point, I'm just sick of seeing Dyer. Like he's meant to be the leader at the back, and he's probably the worst one out of all our back 5.
Is there any desire from the players? Because we've gone 2-0 down at half time. Was there any improvement in the second half?
I mean, there was a little bit. I'm touching a little bit, but I never felt like, even when we scored, I didn't feel like we were going to equalize, or it's a mentality issue, but also we just don't have quality players, and it's also in the most important positions of a Conte system, like I said, the wing backs, right, and the centre half, because the wing backs, the creativity in the system. We don't have a creative midfielder.
Yeah.
And then the back line, obviously, he's relying on the defense to keep a clean sheet or be solid, and that's not solid. So, okay, Bentancur can play as well as he did today, but if the rest of the team is like the people behind and aren't playing well, and then obviously Lloris, another shambles of a game. It's just
so. This is going to be a question because were Newcastle? What did you make of Newcastle today as a team? Were they a lot more better organised than we were?
Well, number one, their back line was better than ours, even on paper, in my opinion.
I've said this,
yeah. Even though they got Trippier, and I mean, it's better than Emerson. Let's be honest. But it's not just that. I hate to use the comparison because everyone's probably going to hate me about this, but like Arsenal, they bought players that fit their system.
So
they integrated them in.
So this was going to be my next question because we all expected Newcastle to go out and spend all the cash, and the only person they really surprised us with was Isak. But actually, all the rest of the players, is this a case of what happens when the board back the manager they have instead of buying players for him?
Yeah.
Are we now seeing the fruit of what happened and the reward of it? Because they survived relegation last year. They pretty much got us full spot. And in this season, they've lost one game, which basically was down to time wasting against Liverpool. And they should have drawn it. They went to Old Trafford last week, got a draw. They beat Everton in midweek. So looking at it on paper, are we surprised that this result happened today? Realistically, considering what some of the players we put out.
On paper, I think like quality-wise on paper we're even because we have the better attackers, right? And I'd say midfield quite the same. But I think we have a better attacker today.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, but then their defense is so much better than ours.
Yeah,
and especially with them playing away from home, I don't know. They did a proper number on us today, like a proper number on us. And even in possession, they were just way more direct as well.
But it's this again. If you buy the players the manager wants, they'll play for the manager. If you buy
know how I feel about Levy.
So where do Spurs go from here? We've obviously got an important game Wednesday now. Or was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday against Lisbon, and we've got Bournemouth next week. Now, going by how the season goes, we're at home against Lisbon. Champions League we've not been great in. We'll be completely honest. Frankfurt, we made a hash of it. Marseille, we had to wait for a sending off. Are we expecting anything better from the boys on Wednesday? And against Bournemouth suddenly started losing again. Is it a case of are we expecting to go there and actually win, but actually then lose to Liverpool the week after?
Well, I would say just before I carry on, I think Newcastle for me are in the fight for top four now, like guaranteed. They're in the fight for top four.
If they're so open again this year.
They're in the fight already.
And you have to think they've had the same problem as us. They've played all the top six, most of the top six away from home, and they've got results out of it. Yeah, Man City they've played at home, and they got a result out of that too. So,
but like, I'm not expecting a different style. I'm not expecting that much of a better performance because this was supposed to be our response to losing to United.
Okay, quick question for you then. If this is our response, we played 3-5-2 twice. Would you go back to 3-4-3 for Wednesday? And would you start Lucas?
Yeah, I would. We have to try something different. I wouldn't play Basuma personally on Wednesday. I don't think he's playing well.
If Højbjerg's fit, because I personally did Skip play any better today than Basuma? Probably not. I don't think
actually,
so.
I disagree with that. I thought Skip played all right.
Personally didn't. I think he looked vulnerable. To be honest, I think him and Basuma should have actually swapped because they wanted.
I know he was playing Skip higher up.
And it was weird. That's not Skip. Yeah. Skip's more of a get the ball in the middle and play around. Where actually, if you look at Basuma for Brighton,
he was playing higher up.
It was probably he could probably do that more than what Skip could. But yeah, would you go with Skip and Bentancur and then Lucas going on the right, or would you just?
Well, if Højbjerg's back, then Højbjerg and Bentancur, because for me they've been our best two players this season. If Højbjerg's back, and we're literally crying out for Kulusevski. Like I'm literally on my knees, like praying he gets fit again.
So quick question before we wrap this up. Conte still the man for you?
Yeah. because there's no point in changing to a 15th manager if we're not going to back number 14, is it? So,
how long till the fans in the stadium turn?
I think they're already turning. If you look at Twitter,
Are they turning on Conte or are they turning on Levy? Who's
a bit of both? I think the people who are already Levy out are just getting louder. Yeah. But the people who are like, let's not blame Levy.
Yeah.
Let's try and find another excuse to absolve this person of any responsibility of this shambles that's just happened again.
Yeah.
Let's blame another manager. Oh, right. Now this Conte's the next man because apparently he asked the players to fit a certain system. He doesn't get them. And then big example is Jed Spence because that was definitely not a Conte signing.
No, we knew that.
And I was listening to the one with Flicks earlier.
Yep.
And I know it's been going on for quite a while. People have been talking about this. But Basuma, do you think he's a Conte signing?
I don't know anymore. I thought he was.
I'm questioning that as well.
I'm starting to question it as well. And I don't know because
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that's Carl, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a lot of questions.
I think Perisic will come in, Doherty will come in, and we might see a little bit better in the wide positions. But at the same time, unfortunately, Perisic is like 34. We're getting something out of him, and he's giving us something. But he's not the Perisic of like 5 years ago or 3 years ago.
Would you hope? This is my last question for you. Would you hope that Paratici, because he's got the whole of November and December, is going to be making? He's going to be going to clubs saying, we want to pay this much for your player. And on January the 1st, we want that person in our squad. Or are we going to do, or is it going to be, here, Levy, as we've been told, here's a list of players we want. Levy's not going to do nothing until the last week of the window.
I think the second one option is probably going to happen more likely. I want the first option to happen more. Yeah. But you know what? Like, at the beginning of the window, we all had this hope, right? That things had changed because we signed players early.
Yeah.
And that, you know, they seemed like Conte players, especially Perisic, for me, was like, oh my God, we're getting someone who was, I wouldn't think Levy would sign, right? But then later in the window, when the window went wrong when Jed Spence, the whole Jed Spence saga happened.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off so much. I was like, why are we chasing this guy?
Yeah. And is it a case now we're starting to see the squad get vulnerable? Because apparently Conte has come out and said this evening, I don't know how true this is, he's come out and said, this squad is only good enough to play once a week.
It's true. Because we let some players go, obviously Lo Celso and Ndombele, and obviously we added maybe like 1 or 2 positions of depth, like a Basuma, an extra midfielder, because Winks wasn't getting used, and maybe on the left with Perisic, I guess. But and obviously Richarlison's injured, but I don't think we've added enough. And it's not just that; it's just Son's. I don't know what's happened to him.
Personally, today with Son, I think he's not comfortable in a 2, and I think they should have tried to go 3-4-3 in the second half when Lucas Moura they should have just
tried him in the middle, didn't he?
He played him in the middle. But he plays well there, to be honest with him. But I think we need to, if we're going to see the best of Son, we need to put him out on that left. But the problem is we need to put him out on that left with a player you don't like, which is Cess. Unfortunately,
but Cess ain't going to do anything on the left side.
But that's exactly why it needs to happen, because Cess ain't going to do nothing. So who's going to be there in his favourite position? Son. He's going to come in and
mate, I disagree with this. This is a rubbish myth that Son's performance is affected by Perisic. It's Son who's not performing, not because of Perisic or Sessegnon.
Yeah, but
Son is just not at it, man. Like,
but you have to look at
a chance like he did today.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like, how can you not finish that chance?
Yeah, but you have to look at it like this. Why is it his goals have only come when Cess is on the pitch?
It's just coincidence. It's called coincidence.
No, it's not called coincidence. You have because Perisic has started to play more and more and more. But the last couple of games, you just have to look at it and go, they're 2 good players and they played well together against Everton. But you have to look at it and go, some players just play better with certain other players, even if the other player was completely rubbish. It happens. You can't sometimes, because you find that Perisic, and I've noticed this, is in a lot of, when he's on the left, he's in a lot of positions on that left where Son used to be. So Son has to now adapt his game. And this is how I'm
Son's
looking
meant
at
to be this top world class player. We get told every day you can't criticize Son. You can't say anything, mate. If Perisic plays wider, Son just have more room in the middle, and he's meant to be this striker-esque player.
But would you not play Son?
Adapt to the system, mate?
But
you can't sit and blame other players for you playing badly.
Yeah, but you wouldn't. Yeah, but Kane's not been playing well the last couple of weeks, right? And today he played well.
And
today
he's scoring.
But today he's been scoring. But with Son, you don't. With world-class players, they don't adapt. They play their best in their position.
No, world-class players adapt to us.
No, because Ronaldo, look at him right now. He's not adapting, but he went and scored 16 goals.
Yeah, but he's like 36, mate.
I know, but I know what you're saying. But you've got to play to their strengths.
Ronaldo's finished.
You got to play to their strengths, right? You got to play to their strengths. Do you play to their strengths, or do you go and say?
But you could argue today we were playing to his strength because he had more freedom than anyone else. Playing in the 3-5-2 with Son, with Sessegnon as well. With Sessegnon was on the pitch and he still played badly.
Yeah, but this is where. But he was meant to play more central. I don't think he likes to play central. That's my fear.
But Marlon, even today, there were instances when he was playing further wide, coming in, and he was longing it out to cross the ball, and I'm like, mate, just cross the ball for God's sake. And one of them I remember, he came in, ran in, and hit the ball, and it got a corner. I'm just like, just cross it in. It's not that difficult. Just cross the ball in.
It's like he's blaming Son now. We're on it. We're on that conversation.
But I'm saying it because he's one of him and Kane, right? Are our most important players because we don't get an attacking output of anyone else apart from maybe Kulusevski. Unfortunately, Richarlison has been stuck on the right, so he can't do much there. And it's like, so if when these players don't perform, we're going to call them out because unfortunately we don't have the depth. Yeah. So we don't have the players. Because honestly, mate, like a few weeks ago, I said this to, I can't remember who it was by text, I think Carl or something. If we had the options, I would have dropped Kane, Richarlison, and Son all at once and brought in 3 new players into the position. I didn't care, man. They were all playing badly. But we don't have the options. We don't have the options. So how can I do that?
No, it's true. We don't have the options. But yeah.
Sorry, just I'm just fuming because it's just so frustrating watching us.
Yeah. No, it is. And then you know what? It is frustrating watching us at the moment.
I'm not, and by the way, Scott, I'm not blaming Son. It's just that we're talking about Son, so I'm going to call him out for him doing rubbish.
No. He was rubbish today. He was rubbish again today. And I think what I'm saying with Son is take it back to how he was playing. Well, the first couple of games of this season I opened, but Perisic was playing quite a bit at the beginning. I'm just saying, let's try. Let's go back to what we were doing last year, back to basics, and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then to be honest, I don't think anything's going to work. I don't even know why.
We're just chatting shit for 20 minutes.
I'm hoping for solutions, and it ain't going to happen. But
do you think Romero's going to be back? And
to be honest, at this present moment, I'm going to be honest. I don't care because it doesn't matter what's going on at the moment. Romero and Højbjerg played on Wednesday. Everyone will sit there and blame Royale for Wednesday, even though he had nothing to do with it. This is what I'm saying. But Royale will get the blame today because he was out there, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. So
I was blaming everyone. So apart from maybe Ben's car.
We're going to finish on this point, right? Because I think I'm frustrated too. But the squad is not good enough. We've all known it. Conte is probably, let's be honest, doing more with this squad than we all expected. And even though we don't like the way it's playing, the fact that we're even third is a miracle.
It's a miracle. It's actually a miracle.
But now we're gonna get shown up against teams like Newcastle, who I thought played really well today. But we're gonna get shown up against teams like Newcastle if we don't sort this out soon. And if we're all gonna go blame a manager, right? There was 2 managers. Let's be honest about this, right? Levy had a chance to get 2 managers in that played attacking football. He had a chance of getting Eddie Howe in. Never took it. And
Fonseca was the other one, wasn't it?
Yeah. And no, not even Fonseca. Forget Fonseca. The other manager that Levy's always wanted is now Chelsea's manager. Yeah? Chelsea went and paid 25 million or whatever it was to go get Potter out of his contract. There's your issue. Right? So if you want them sort of managers, you're going to have to pay premium. If he wants to go back to Poch, where do we go?
The only reason I say this, I'm not saying I want Poch back, by the way. I'm just saying it's a very huge possibility.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
Poch played the exact same football with this same squad in these last 9 months. Well, not all of them, but most of them.
And it didn't work.
So where do we go from there?
Personally, I'm just going to go there for a laugh after Conte leaves. So,
look. A lot of this is we have to look at this. We have to look at this and go. A lot of people probably said this was coming. 2 games on the bounce. Conte will turn it around. We know he will. He's a good enough manager. He will. But at this present moment, if we looked at it, Newcastle looks like they're more likely to get top 4 than us.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the concerning thing is now, because it, like I said to the Newcastle fan earlier, is it going to become a top 7? Do we wait until after Christmas till Newcastle become serious contenders of that top 4? Chelsea and Man United, let's be honest, have looked better than us.
Chelsea, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Our top 4 space is good. Well, I thought we were good enough to make top 4. Do you think we're still good enough to make top 4?
No.
And on that note, before I let you go, which player comes out with their head held high? Which player played well today for you?
Bentancur.
And now I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Nice chatting to you, Marlon, man.
No,
it's been a while.
Hopefully you get some therapy out of this, and hopefully everyone else in the chat has. Thanks to Scott M, thanks to Sel, thanks to Always Spurs, Mitch, who came on earlier, Mark Cousins. It's been an absolute pleasure if you've been watching. But what's the last thing you got to say before you go?
Come on, you Spurs, and leave me out.
And I think I'm back on Wednesday. I'm going to be doing the Champions League as Haas is on holiday. Please tune in for that. And obviously we've got Bournemouth next week. We'll try and bring you some previews as well over the next coming week as well, if you can tune in for that. But disappointing result. Hopefully it's been a good chat with everybody. And hopefully you're not all depressed of what's going on if you're Spurs. If you're Newcastle, well done. Congratulations. But here we go. Another season. Not long. Come on, you Spurs.